being taken seriously. Of all the things we study in school, in fact, leadership and money, people should learn how to lead from the cradle, from primary schools. That's why, some months ago, I stumbled on a documentary. I know you will have seen the documentary of how Japan train their young people. It's, I think, in Japan or China, from cradle. Children are being taught how to cook, how to clean, how to do a whole lot of things. They are teaching them personal responsibility. They are teaching them leadership. So the subject of leadership should be included in our curriculum if we want to see the African continent transform. It said, in other words, this scripture is saying that the condition, now this is another statement that is very, very important. The condition of every organization, every family, every community, every nation is as a result of the comprehension and application of the knowledge of leadership that is within that jurisdiction. And that's powerful. The condition and the situation of every family, every institution, every organization, every community, every state, every nation is as a result of the comprehension. This is powerful. The result of the comprehension of the knowledge of leadership that is available in that environment. So we need to learn what it means to lead effectively. Now, what is leadership? Having said all what I've said, what is leadership? Because what you don't define, you cannot find. What you don't know, you can't really apply. What is leadership? It will shock you that a lot of people in leadership opportunities all over the nations of the world, most of them don't know what leadership is all about. When you lead by assumption, you will end in frustration. A lot of people don't know what leadership is all about. What is leadership? I know most people know that leadership is influence. What kind of influence? Because there are different types of influence. Now, let me state some few definitions, on my understanding of the subject of leadership. A few simple definitions. In fact, it's quite a coincidence that I'm writing a book now on leadership. It's another dimension of leadership book. By God's grace, very soon it's going to be out. It's amazing, but I've been working on it for over 3 years now, and very soon it's going to be out. So, number one, what is leadership? Leadership is essentially about the provision of inspiration and motivation that will make people to prefer solutions to life negative situations. That's a powerful statement. Leadership is essentially about the provision of inspiration and motivation that will make people to prefer solutions to negative situations. In other words, leadership is problem solving. Leadership is problem solving. Leadership is preferring solutions, providing inspiration that will prefer solutions. You can summarize it like that. So if you as a leader and you are not providing inspiration, you are not providing motivation that will prefer solutions to people's challenges, you are not leading. You are just managing. You are not leading. Number two, what is leadership? Leadership is about disposition and contributions to life. It is not about position or possessions. Every African leader needs to know that. Leadership is about your disposition. Your disposition talks about your attitude. It talks about your character. It talks about your demeanor, your competence, your capacity. It's about your disposition and contribution to lives. It is not about your position. John Maxwell defined different strata or levels of leadership, and he mentions the positional level of leadership, the permissional levels of leadership. You can go and read his book. In fact, I think I put that book there. I still consulted the book some days ago. 5 types of leadership: the positional, the permissional, the people's development, and the pinnacle. There is one that I missed. Just get that book and read, by John Maxwell. 5 levels. The funny thing is that majority of leaders in this part of the world are still operating, at that level, the positional level. That's the first entry level of leadership, where people follow you because you have a title. You have a title. That's where a lot of people are. And that's why a lot of people can kill, can do a whole lot of things to get a position. Leadership is not about your position. Leadership is all about your disposition and contribution to life. Then number 3, leadership is a positive influence on people for outstanding lifestyle. It is not about affluence. Leadership is positive influence. I am defining the word influence now. Positive influence on people for outstanding lifestyle. It is not about your affluence, your ostentatious living. It's beyond that. So having defined leadership, let me quickly share some brief strategies that will help you to lead effectively. As I wrap up this, I'm going to take some questions. Number 1, the brilliant strategies that will help you to become an efficient and effective leader. Number 1, this is the foundation. You must discover your purpose and help others to discover their purpose too. As a leader, as someone that wants to become an effective leader, you must discover your own purpose. Now I'm asking you today, everyone participating in this seminar or conference or whatever, have you gotten grasp of your purpose for living? This simple word purpose is very, very key. Very, very important, because as a leader, if you don't know your purpose, you don't know your vision, you don't understand where you are going. In fact, just look at the word leader. Just literal meaning of what it is. It means leading some people somewhere, taking the lead. In other words, it means direction. As a leader, you must have direction. You must have direction for your life. Where are you headed? Where are you going? There is no place like anywhere or everywhere. You can't wake up from your house and say you are going everywhere. There is nowhere like that. Or you are going, anywhere. There is nothing like anywhere. You must have somewhere. You can't board a bus today and just tell the driver, I'm going there. Where? You must know where you are going. So that's why we have people, piloting nations, being in the driver's seat of nations, who personally, they don't know where they are going. And you expect them to lead the nation that they are leading right. It's more or less like a driver that doesn't have a destination and then is leading people. They are going to head into chaos. There are many people leading families, leading businesses, leading local governments, leading state governments, leading nations that they personally, they don't know where they are going. And how do you expect someone that doesn't know where he's going to lead the people that is leading to somewhere? It's never possible. So as an individual, you must understand your purpose. Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory said something. He said, when the purpose of something is not known, abuse of that thing is inevitable. So when a leader doesn't understand the purpose of leadership or doesn't understand his own purpose, abuse of it is inevitable. Now, listen, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 21, the Passion Translation again. Now look at what Solomon said. He said, my child, never drift off course from these 2 goals for your life. Very, very essential goal. To walk in wisdom and to discover your purpose. And to discover your purpose. He said, don't ever forget how they empower you. Purpose empowers. I'm telling you, when a leader understands his purpose or his or her life assignment, I'm telling you, it becomes easier for that person to lead people well. Now, let me use David as an example of someone who understood his purpose, and I also use Solomon as an example of someone who understood his purpose, and I also use Joseph as someone in scriptures who understood his purpose. And then I'm going to use a practical name of someone that we knew or that we know about, blessed memory now, Nelson Mandela. I'm going to explain as I discuss further. Now, let me read something about David in the scriptures. The Bible says about David in Acts chapter 13, verse 36. It said, but David served God's purpose and will for his generation. David served God's purpose and will for his generation. Most times people usually think that David was very great king because he was anointed, because he put down Goliath, he defeated Goliath, or because he's a psalmist, he has the gift of singing, or because he composed psalms. No. The foundation of David, if effective and efficient life, was because he understood his purpose. He understood his purpose. He knew the assignment that God has created him to accomplish in life. So as an individual, you need to understand your purpose. That was the reason why when you read the scriptures in 1 Samuel, some people came to David and he was able to transform them. I will explain that later. It is only a leader that understands his purpose that can raise purposeful people. So it's very, very important. Very, very important. You need to understand your purpose as a leader. Understanding your purpose means you need to have a definite vision for life. You need to have a definite vision for life. You need to know where you are headed. You need to know what you are doing, and you need to know why God kept you here. Understand your purpose. Now, there is a Bible verse that got my attention several years ago that have actually transformed my life. And that was about Joseph. Now, you can imagine, Jacob was dying, and he was praying for all his children. And when it got to the turn of Joseph, listen to the prayers of Jacob, Genesis 49, verse 22 to 26. Oh, thank you, Lord. This is very, very inspiring. Joseph, you are a fruitful vine. I'm reading the contemporary English version. Growing near a stream and climbing a wall. Enemies attack with arrows, refusing to show mercy. But you stood your ground swiftly, shooting back with the help of Jacob's God, the all-powerful one. His name is the shepherd, Israel's mighty rock. 25. Your help came from God, your father, worship, from God all-powerful. God will bless you with rain and streams from the earth. He will bless you with many descendants. My son, the blessings I give are better than the promise of ancient mountains or eternal hills. Joseph, I pray these blessings will come to you because you are the leader of your brothers. The day I saw that scripture, I was amazed. Even his father knew that, mind you, Joseph was the 11th child out of 12 children. Now praying that your 11th child is the leader of his brothers. What were the things that his father saw? His father saw that from teenager, Genesis 49, verse 22 to 26, the contemporary English version. From teenager, Jacob knew that Joseph had gotten a very good grasp of his personal life's vision. Remember, when Joseph was 17 years, he had a dream that he was going to be a prime minister, right? He had a dream that he was going to lead people. And he knew what his life assignment was. So that's why as a leader, you must know your vision. You must know your purpose if you want to live effectively. Now, please write this down. Until you realize your purpose, you cannot raise other leaders. You will rather love to make them your followers for life. If you don't realize your purpose, you will not raise other leaders. Rather, you will make them your followers for life. Number 2, write this down. If you don't have a definite purpose for your life, you will become pressured by the progress of those you are leading and end up becoming a terror. If you don't have a good grasp of your own personal purpose, you will become pressured by the progress of the people that you are meant to lead, and then you will end up as a terror, like Saul. Saul never understood his personal purpose. He entered into, opportunity to become the leader of Israel without actually understanding his life purpose. So when he saw that David was excelling, he started envying David, and then he wanted to kill David. Can you now know the reason why some leaders in African nations don't want their younger ones to succeed? Because they don't understand their life purpose. The purpose of leadership is to help others to become better. So if you don't understand your purpose, you will be envying, you will be pressured by the progress of the people that you are meant to lead. So I said I was going to talk about Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela knew his life purpose as a leader. And his life purpose was to rescue his people from appetite, from the captivity of the colonials, people that were colonizing them. And he sacrificed his life for that for 27 years. He was incarcerated. And then when he had opportunity to become the president of South Africa, he served South Africa once and for all, and he left. That's a man that understood his purpose and his life vision. And that's why today, all over, in fact, the day he was about to be buried, almost all the foremost presidents of nations, they were at his burial. That is someone that has made a transgenerational impact. People that never saw Nelson Mandela's, when he was alive. Today, they are, honoring the legacy that he lived. That's the man that lived a life of purpose. So number one, I said, discover your purpose. If you want to be, you want to be an effective leader, discover your purpose. Then number two, develop the potentials of the people that you are leading. Develop the potentials of the people that you are leading. You can read 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 8. The Bible says that some people came to David. They were debtors. They were discomforted. They were discontented. They were dishonorable people. Different words were used to describe those people. And then the Bible said in 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 8, those guys became mighty men of David. That is the power of transformation. The power of transformation. David saw people that didn't have anything in their life, but he saw beyond their physical condition. He saw their potentials and he transformed them. Little wonder Jesus told his disciples in Matthew chapter 4, verse 19. He said, when you follow me, I'm going to transform you. Matthew 4:19, the Passion Translation. He said, come follow me, I will transform you into people, catching men. In other words, your work as a leader is transformation of your followers. Your essential work as a leader is the personal transformation of your followers, not even your followers alone. Everywhere you find yourself, the transformation of the place that you are leading, that place must be transformed. So real leaders focus more on people's development beyond their personal achievements. Please write that down. Real leaders focus more on people's development beyond their personal achievement. So when you see a leader that is an effective and efficient leader, they focus on developing others, transforming others. And that was what Jesus essentially did when he came. Transformed the life of fishermen, ordinary people, and then they became extraordinary people. You can see that testimony, from Acts chapter 4, verse 13. People saw the people that Jesus transformed, and then their conclusion was that they had followed Jesus. Now, I want to ask you a question. Now, listening to me. Can you confidently say that people that have associated with you or associating with you are being transformed by the type of attitude or by the type of things that they are seeing from your leadership? It's very, very important. You see, genuine leaders are dealers in people's transformation more than possessions, accumulations, and desire for prestigious positions. That's a powerful statement. Genuine leaders, they are dealers in people's transformation more than possessions, accumulations, and the desire for prestigious positions. When you see the genuine leaders, what usually consume their passion is to see that the people that are associated with them are being transformed, and the places that they are leading is being transformed. Yeah, so number three, that is self-explanatory enough. Number three, as I take two more, and then I take some questions and wrap up this discussion. Number three, if you want to be an effective leader, you must learn to delegate your power and your positions. You must learn to delegate your power and your positions. You must learn to delegate your power and your positions. Now, listen to me. It is only when you have genuine love and affection for your people that you can delegate your power and your position to them. When you love your people, you can delegate your power and your position to them. Now, the proof of genuine leadership is the fact that they've been able to train people to increase the dexterity and capacity, of people that they are leading, so that they can hand over, their responsibilities to them. Not abdication. Delegation of your responsibility and power is not abdication of responsibility. It's just, shows that you are raising other leaders. While I was preparing my short, I'm actually racing ahead of myself because I wrote a lot of things here. The African leadership style, is just coming to mind. Have you ever thought about it? Why a lot of leaders in Africa and most nations of the world want to die on a position, even when they don't have the health? There was a leader, there was a president of a nation, I don't want to mention the nation, some years ago, who was having a health challenge. And then they had the inauguration of of something, and the guy was weeing in his body. I don't know if you saw that video. How many of us saw that video? Can I get a show of hand if you saw that video? I don't want to mention that that particular African nation. What does it take for you as a leader to allow somebody else to be part of that program or to inaugurate that program, and then for you to go and embarrass a whole nation? You have a challenge, for God's sake. There is nobody that doesn't have a challenge. We are humans. We are living in a world that is not perfect. How can you embarrass a whole nation? The guy was weeing in his body. There were white people there. That's why a lot of people, in this part of I've told myself, when I'm 70 years old, there are some things I don't want to engage myself doing again. That's why you see some people, you see, African leaders, we need to learn how to lead. Not only African, it's all over the world now. People that don't have adequate personal understanding of their purpose, they will die on a position. They will die on a position. They will not delegate their responsibility to anyone else, because that position feeds their ego. Without that position, they cannot live, they cannot survive. I've told myself, when I get to 70 or 60, 65 years, there are some things I will not want to engage myself again. I will cultivate my time developing other people. I don't want to, I will that is more honorable for me to be going up and down. I don't want to talk so that it doesn't look as if somebody is partisan or whatever. You can see what is happening in our nation now. You can see what is happening in our nation. There are some things that when you get to a particular age, you should not be bothering yourself about. You should be consolidating on your legacies, not dying on a particular position. And this happens when you don't understand your purpose. And that's why, as an individual, I am not trying, please try to get my line of thought. I am not undermining anyone's health challenges. I am not saying that people cannot have a challenge. I am not saying that you should not, at an old age, you should not be doing something. I am just saying that at a particular age, there are some things you should grow above and leave a good legacy. That's why Nelson Mandela led the nation at that particular age once and left, because there is more to life developing other people than for you to die on a particular position. If you check, why writing my book? Oh, I don't know why I should be talking about my book now. I discovered the failure of most African nations. There are some nations in Africa that the people leading those nations have led those nations for over 25 years. They've turned those nations into personal business, because in their mind, they don't believe that there is any other person that can lead that nation. You remember the story of Robert Mugabe? He died on that position for years. He couldn't leave. So as a leader, you must learn how to delegate, and empower. Now, listen to me. one of the purpose of leadership, is to empower others and not to enjoy power. One of the purposes, of leadership is to empower others and not to enjoy or not to keep on enjoying power. You must have in your mind that the reason why you are a leader is to empower others. So if you cannot, I always say this when I'm facilitating, teaching people on leadership, if you cannot leave the scene of your position so that the people you are raising can be seen, then your vision is very small and it may soon come to an end. So you must leave the scene, let other people, and do what you are doing. So it's very, very important. And then finally, you must focus on deploying your skills, deploying your abilities, deploying your potentials, deploying your resources to better the lives of people consistently through service. In other words, the purpose of leadership is simply serving others. Now listen to what God said about David in Psalm 78, verse 70 to 72. The Passion Translation, he said, God also chose his beloved one, David. He promoted him from caring, you can see the word, caring for sheep, and made him his prophetic servant. God prepared David and took his gentle shepherd king and presented him before the people as the one who will love and care for them with integrity, a pure heart, and anointing him to lead Israel. One day, Jesus was going with his disciples and he overheard them arguing. And what was the argument? They were arguing about who is going to lead, who is going to take the right position or the left position. And Jesus cautioned them and told them in Mark chapter 10, verse 42, that leadership is about service and not about lording over people. It's about loving people and serving other people and serving people. He said the Son of Man came to serve others. So you need to serve people. So let me wrap up with the story of Joseph again. When Joseph eventually, reconciled with his brothers, there were two critical statements that Joseph said, that is very, very inspiring to me. Genesis 45, verse 5. He said, you guys, you sold me, but God sent me. And the reason God sent me is because he wanted me to preserve lives. Now, let me read how it's been written down in a Passion Translation in Genesis 50, verse 20. Now, listen to what Joseph said. He said, even though you intended to hurt me, but God intended it for good. It was his plan all along to ensure the survival of many people. So don't worry. I myself will provide for you all that you need, both for you and your little ones. Then verse 21 said, with more kind, reassuring words, Joseph comforted his brothers. So this morning, or this afternoon rather, you need to understand that as a leader, the reason why you have opportunity to lead people is because God wants you to serve them. Deploy your gifts, deploy your skills, deploy your resources, deploy all you have to serve them and ensure that other lives become better. Leaders serve people to make them become better. Thank you for listening to me today. Let me just quickly take some questions. While it escaped my mind. I want to recommend that if you don't have this book, this is one of my books. You can get it on Amazon. This is one book I would recommend that everybody should get. It's titled Living Towards Maximum Fulfillment. It's an over 300 pages book. This book will help you to understand your purpose. I see a lot of people struggling. They don't understand their core vision, their core life purpose and assignment in life. That's why you see most people in this part of the world, they are crisscrossing one career path to another. You need to understand your purpose. This book will help you. You can get it on Amazon. It's titled Living Towards Maximum Fulfillment. I wrote this book, for over 12 years. This is one of the books that should be in your library. Please read it and recommend it to other people. I have some other books that I also wrote. You Are Special is another book, and then this is Words of Wisdom. They are all on Amazon. You can get them, and if you need the physical copy, you can talk to your facilitator. He will see how to help you to get those books. So let me quickly take some questions as I quickly wrap up and run off to my other assignments for today. I know you've been blessed and inspired. Can I just see your hand? Thank you.
Okay, I hope you're looking at the chat box as well. People are responding, yes, sir, love emoji, and beautiful. Well done, sir. God bless you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So please, what's a light bulb moment? I know he's giving lots of quotes. In fact, Pastor Segun, is it okay if I just say one or two things how we met? Is it okay if I hint them whilst you're still on the call? And then in the process, you can put up your questions as well. So please, if you've got questions, type your questions of you on YouTube as well. I'm looking at the chat box, so please put your questions so that you can quickly address your question. But in the meantime, I've known Pastor Segun for quite some time now, about I think more than half a decade, if I'm not mistaken. No, in fact, almost going to a decade. We met, and how I met him was I went for Dada Leadership Academy. And of course, there were many profound speakers, beautiful speakers. And some of the things I learned there, resonated with the ideas that I had, things that I wanted to do, And then Pastor Segun came, Ralph Segun. One of the things, even though I'm not sure I told him, was the fact that he looked like a very young, handsome man. With his hair cut and the teddy. You see these beards are the teddy shape. That's his style. It's been there since I've known him, like that. And that's the shape. And then as he was teaching, he was giving rhymes, rhymes upon rhymes. I said, what's going on? And then after the program, I went to meet him, introduced myself to him. Now, before that time, I'm not the type who will likely approach people because I don't like being rejected. But now I'm better, I don't have an issue if you say no. But then I don't like being rejected. So I was skeptical. What if he tells me, sorry, I can't talk to you, sorry. But then I went to meet him and he shook my hand. Hey, how are you? Smile. Then we exchanged contact. And since then, I booked a session with him, came to meet him in the office, and I shared my ideas with him. In case you guys do not know, that idea is what translated into LIBL Academy that you are seeing now. At that time, I don't know, Pastor Segun, I don't know if you can remember. Then I was trying to call it Aliyah, if you remember, because I brought a book when I came to your office. The first time we had a long conversation, it was African Leadership and Entrepreneur Academy. That I wanted to call the name of the company. And then I told you, I said, this is what I want to do. I want to bring it into the educational system and change the system of education so that leadership can be taught as a subject in schools and all the blah, blah, blah. And he sat with that. We spoke for long, and I think I've also seen him after that time. And since then, he's been quite really supportive. Thank you so much, Pastor Segun. God bless you.
Welcome.
God bless you. So he's been my very good friend. Sir?
That's a testimony.
Oh, yeah, it is. And interestingly, here is LIBL today. We couldn't register it as Aliyah, which is African Leadership and Entrepreneur Academy, but then we eventually metamorphosed the name into Leadership, Intelligence, and Business Learning Academy, which is still the same thing I'm trying to achieve. Wow. All right, so where are your comments? So the chat box. YouTube, I hope I can't see your comments. I hope I'm not doing anything wrong. But on the chat, people are saying, thank you, sir. Well done, sir. God bless, sir. Just reading out. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. My eyes was open, sir, about... Okay, let me just read it from here. I think it's easier for me. Precious, you don't need to raise your hand. Just type your questions. I know there are questions here already, but I want to make sure I'm reading everything. So Zion's Komalafe said, thank you, sir. My eyes was open, sir, about leadership. Thank you, sir. That's couple. Adeshola said, thank you so much, Pastor. Adeshola said, thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation. Effort says, this is powerful and very educating. Apostle, they said, thank you and well done. Adewale says, thank you, sir. Kufre says, Pastor Segun, thank you, sir. God bless you richly for this wonderful piece. How does one, so this is the question, how does one discover his or her purpose in life?
that question is not, what I would just summarize in few sentences. That's why I said I will encourage you to get this book and read. Sometimes a lot of people, because you need to understand that there are dimensions to your purpose in life. Like you just shared your practical experience now that we were discussing together. And then in the process of, brainstorming, you got an idea. Just because you've gotten a kind of insight into what you are meant to be doing as an individual. So as a leader, as someone, for you to understand your purpose, you need to. That's why I said that, please, I would recommend you get this book. Please, in all you are getting, Solomon said, get understanding. I wrote this book for, like I mentioned when I was talking, for over 12 years. And there were reasons, because most of the questions I usually get from people is, let me just give you a little summary of what actually made me to go deeper, to do a research on how people can discover their purpose. Several years ago, a man came all the way from that Festac area to come and meet me in the office at Oregon. This was a man that had accomplished. You can say he's an accomplished man. As at that time, he had two sons in the higher institution. He has his own house. He was an accountant. But he said at that particular stage in his life, he knew that there is something more to his life than presently what he has achieved or what he is now. You see, there is difference between achievement and fulfillment. And that's what this book will help you to understand. So please, I will encourage you to get this book. It's a very chunky book, but it's written in a way that you can easily comprehend. So please, that person that asked that question, please, I would like you to get this book. Because if I start talking on the subject of purpose, I can talk about it for a whole day. I can talk about it for a whole day. So please, Mr. Deji, please tell the person to get this book and read.
All right. Kofre, I believe you heard that. So Kofre, you can get the book. Somebody's asking you to mention the name of the book again.
Yeah, I said Living Towards Maximum Fulfillment. It's on Amazon.
By Raf
Just
Segun
look
Dada.
for, yeah, by Raf Segun Dada. You can get the Kindle Vision if you want the hard copy, whichever one, you can get it on Amazon. All my books are there.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So Kester is asking a question. He said, thank you very much, sir. It was such a great session, a mind-blowing teaching. But I have a question, sir. There is this notion about if you want something done well, you should do it yourself. Permit me to share my idea, sir. I've noticed that at the beginning stage of leadership, the true leaders actually do things themselves until they were able to train others as well, which definitely takes time. Do you think it's a good notion, sir?
It's a good notion, but it doesn't have to stop there. That statement that if you want something done well, you should do it yourself is not a complete statement. How many things can you do for yourself? So let me ask the person that asked that question. If you become a CEO and you want to be driven well, you have to drive yourself. Even when you want to drive from Lagos to Abuja, if you want to be flown well in a jet, you have to fly yourself, right? That statement is not a complete statement. If you want something to be done well, you have to do it and show others how to do it. That's a complete statement. It's not necessarily you have to do it yourself all the time. So you need to learn how to teach others how to do what you are doing. That is true leadership. Leadership, that's why I took my time to share the second point that I mentioned, developing other people's potential. See, this question you just asked now is why we have leadership failures and leadership problems and succession planning issues in Africa. Yesterday, one of my friends came to my house and we were chatting, we were discussing. If I tell you how many court cases there are how many court cases you have now on succession planning issues in most prestigious organizations. You will be shocked. Simply because majority of leaders don't teach people what, we have this wrong ideology in Africa that if you want to keep shining, don't teach others your trade secrets. You will die there. You will die there. The time you're supposed to become a coach and you are still playing on the football field, you will soon die. That's why a lot of African leaders are not productive and effective. You have to teach others. Let them know what you are doing. And that's what frees you. That's what qualifies you to actually be a leader. So I believe I've been able to answer that very well. Let me take 2 more questions because I need to fly.
Okay, sir. Okay, so someone is asking, Adesola Kita, how much is the book, sir? Is it possible to get it through the coordinator? Okay, I think you should reach out to me on the group or any of the admin, and then I will ask RSD how best he wants to be contacted. So yes, the book, you can get it through me. You can reach out to me on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, you can reach out to your coordinator.
Joy Boma, is it as a leader, how do you communicate your ideas to your followers effectively, especially when these followers lack understanding without creating chaos to achieve your aim? Wow.
How do you communicate your ideas to your followers effectively? You need to love them and you need to learn how to communicate. It's one of the things that in fact, that chapter on communication in my book is like almost, I can't discuss how many pages now. So as a leader, you must learn communication skills because there are different strategies to communication, because the people that you are leading have different cognizance and reasoning ability. Some learn by visuals, some learn by personal discussions, some learn by different strategies. So as a leader, you need to learn how to communicate. And this is the undoing of most African leaders, particularly those in the political settings. They don't know how to communicate. You must learn how to communicate as a leader. And please, you know what? If you don't read, you cannot communicate. If you don't read, you can't communicate. So you must learn how. Communication is a skill. And that's why communication is being taught in schools, in a department. There's a department known as communication department. So as a leader, you must learn the skill of, in fact, the business of leadership is communication. Your body language is communicating. Your eyes contact is communicating. Your mode is communicating. Your attitude, everything about it is communicating. So you must learn how to communicate. As a leader, you must learn how to communicate so that you don't have an excuse saying your people have low understanding. Well, that is your failure. Whatever it is that you need to learn to pass your knowledge across, you need to learn it as a leader. If you actually want to be a leader, learn how to communicate. Buy books on communication and read broad.
Okay, yeah. The last question for today. He said, what about the purpose? So Adewale Temitope is asking, what about the purpose of alignment with God's purpose in someone's life? Did I take that?
Yeah, the question is the purpose of alignment.
So yeah, what about the purpose of alignment with God's purpose in someone's life?
I'm trying to understand the question very well. Let me clarify what that question is trying to. The person is trying to say, what about your personal desire or passion or ambition in alignment with God's purpose for your life? I guess that's what the person is trying to say, because as an individual, you will always have your own passions, your own individual desires, and so your aspirations, let me use that word. As a leader, you must learn how to balance that aspiration with God's purpose for your life. Please, you will get all these answers to purpose thing. Because I said, because of the way people ask me a lot of questions on purpose, that's why I wrote this book. That person, you need to get this book and read it. It will help you to understand the question you're asking. Yeah. So please, for those that are on the platform, you know, we have little time to discuss this subject of leadership. I have some teachings that I do gradually on every day. In fact, you get to go on my platforms and you will see, you know, some of my videos, previous videos, present videos on leadership on other subjects. You can go on my YouTube channel, just type my name there. I know your facilitator, your coordinator will tell you. And my social media handle is at R Segun Dada. Let me just type it here. I'm on TikTok, and that's all on my social media handle. That's the platform on Facebook, on TikTok, and on Instagram. That's my Twitter handle. That's my on my YouTube channel is Rav Segun Dada. Let me just type my YouTube channel here. You will see my picture there. RSD TV. So you see most of my messages there. You'll be able to get some of the things that I've done and some of the things I'm doing. Please kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it, you know, download some of those messages, and you know, on TikTok you see some of my short clips there and listen to them over and over again, because this thing it takes time, and you need to listen to those messages over and over and over and over again. So thank you so much for listening to me.
Okay.
When my leadership book is out, I will let you know so that they can have access to it.
Okay, sir. No problem, sir. Please, if you don't mind,
right.
Yeah, let me just kindly make this request. Somebody is pleading for the last question. Kester, I think he has a real issue. He said, I mean to ask this last question. I recently started a copywriter consultant, and I've also taught most of the people under me how to write a copy and how to also make money from it. But the issue is they are not focused on doing the job. Most of them are lazy about it, and it's costing me the job. How do I rectify this issue, sir?
Yeah, so as a leader, you need to identify the different capacities of the people that you are leading. You see, some people you need to have a lot of patience to understand their learning capacity. And then your delegation strategies, you have to learn delegation strategies in a way that it's not everything that you delegate. When you look at the disciples of Jesus, it wasn't as if he was desegregating. He had his disciples, you know, had different level of interaction and intimacy with them. They were the 70, they were the 12, and then out of the 12, he had the 3. You understand? So people have different capacities, people have different abilities, and people have different passion per time. So you must, first of all, discover the ones that really have passion for what you are doing and begin to pour into them gradually. And you need to have patience, because most of the time, the people that you are trying to transform, they have a whole lot of challenges that is affecting them. So if you don't understand those challenges, you will discard them, you know. So you need for those people that are lazy, you need to teach them how to take personal responsibility, and you need to teach them how to be time conscious. There are a lot of things that you need to invest into them for them to really come to the level of your discipline. And it takes patience for you to be able to do that. I believe I've been able to answer your question right.
Yes, sir. You've been able to convince us and not to confuse us, sir. Thank you so much, Pastor
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's always a delight having you on the call.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. I know
thank you, everyone. God bless you. Have a blessed day. Bye. God bless you. Bye.
Okay, guys. That's a beautiful one. For the guys on YouTube, I can see your comment. David Thompson. David Thompson, thank you so much for the teaching, sir. I'm greatly blessed and enlightened. Zuma said, these are our regular YouTube guys. Ibilayin said, love your followers. Okay, making reference to the point. Said the business of leadership is communication. That's the punchline for him. Patience, a core of leadership. Beautiful. And we've come to the end of today's teaching. I told you it's going to be awesome. I enjoyed every bit of it. Every bit of it. It was beautiful, really, really, really beautiful. You know, And I know he's very busy. He's got another engagement from, I think, 3:30 to 4, you know, all through till evening. And that's why we have to move the class earlier. But it's been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the class. I hope you enjoyed the class. All right. I also want to appreciate all of you who joined, showing seriousness for this class, and I hope you are really learning. I hope you are gaining something. I hope this is making sense. See, I had to share that story to inspire some of you. LIBA didn't just come as it came. For some years back, we wanted to create something. You know, the initial name was not LIBA. It was ALEA, you know, Alia, Mr. Kali Alia. And that was the vision I was running with. And I spoke with him, went to meet him at some point after the leadership training. And that's why we're trying to also come up with this mentorship program so that you can also, you know, many of you are business people. You need people to inspire you or to mentor you one way. So we are serious, we're intentional about this, and we want you to be intentional. You know, I've said it, we don't want to dash out certificate. We've never dashed out any certificate. We've only given it to those who are serious with the learning. And at this point also, I want to just encourage you. You know, we know there are still many people who have not taken some of these classes serious. As it is, I know towards the end, some people will not say, oh, sorry, sir, how can I almost got to the mark. Even if it is 1 mark that is remaining, we won't give you. So please, if you've not done your test, do your test as last week's test. Yesterday's teaching and today's teaching will be met with this weekend's teaching for the test. So you do the test of today, of yesterday, today's home with this weekend's class. But in the meantime as well, I'd just like to mention that if you have challenges, any challenge, by now you shouldn't have any challenge during the test, but in case you do, reach out to some of the admin on the group, and I believe they will be willing to help you. On this note, I want to say a big thank you, and I want to say that I'm noticing some of our consistent students who are always participating in class. The YouTube guys, I know Oluwaken, although Oluwaken is not online today, David Tomisin, Chima Ruth something. You know, these are people that are consistent. David Tosin, Zumadora. Then there's one guy, Kester is on Zoom. We are watching. Just keep it up. Jennifer, yes, Jennifer. No, the Zoom guys, I know the Zoom guys who are always consistent. You know, just let's make it participatory as possible. The group will be divided by next week, you know, hopefully by next week. We just want to make sure that you guys enjoy yourself now before we form, you know, group you into project groups, you know. And then I know that Kufre is on the call. That's your project coordinator. Kufre will still speak with you guys one of these days. Kufre is doing a good job. He's doing a great job. All right, guys, thank you so much. And have a lovely day ahead. See you on Saturday. God willing.